The interpretation of narratives is to some extent subjective because everyone can experience art differently. At the same time, using literary analysis, we can still explain the most reasonable meanings that the artist meant to convey or that the audience is likely to understand. To understand themes of any work of art, however, spoilers are involved. Heavy spoilers. So consider this your spoiler warning. Lies of P, the 2023 fairy tale Souls-like by NeoWiz and Round 8 Studio, was one of my favorite Souls-likes not only for its gameplay, but because it contains nuanced narrative themes that really challenge the player to think. In the first video, part 1, we took a look at themes related to the evils many of the characters and villains engaged in through their lies. Besides themes of evil, there are many themes related to what it means to be human, with many of the mechanics of the game and even P's own lies supporting these themes. An important symbol, the Grand Covenant, is somewhat similar to Asimov's 3 laws of robotics. These laws dictate what puppets can and cannot do, and develop themes of humanity, and who is and is not human. In this video, part 2, we are going to explore said themes and answer the question, what do the lies of P show us about what it means to be human? The first theme about humanity is that being human means being able to lie.
Fourth law, a puppet cannot lie.
Therefore, puppets are supposed to be restricted by the Grand Covenant, while most of the humans of the game lie in some way or another. Many of the lies are covered in the first video, so I won't rehash them here. That the humans in the game tell lies is expected, especially of the villains. What's sort of interesting is that many of the puppets seem capable of lying despite the existence of the fourth law, implying they are human due to the awakening of their ergo. Near the end of the game, Pulcinella implies that he lied to law enforcement, since if it was revealed that a puppet killed Manini's parents, that Pulcinella himself might have also been removed, demonstrating his humanity. However, the most obvious development of this theme is through the protagonist himself, P. P's creator Geppetto tells him never to lie and to be a good boy, which in some sense would make him like a puppet.
No resentment, no lies.
In contrast to Geppetto, Sophia and Antonia encourage P to lie in order to become more human and to protect himself.
People on the outside are still afraid of puppets. Lie to protect yourself and find your path.
The game has a humanity system where every time P lies, it increases his humanity level, representing the idea that he is becoming more human and able to judge when it may be necessary or possibly even good to lie. Near the very beginning of the game, P demonstrates his ability to lie by lying to get past the hotel security system. Our protagonist P is revealed to be somewhere in between a puppet and a human when he's able to lie and enter the hotel. The necessity of lies is even shown in Geppetto's own instructions. Geppetto himself tells P not to lie, but also to be careful who he tells about the hotel. As a result, when P encounters Alidoro, who seems quite suspicious, it's natural to want to lie to him, even if P is just following Geppetto's general guidance. P's ability to choose when to lie and when not to lie represents his humanity both mechanically and narratively. While the Bible does not generally condone lying, it does suggest that lying is part of human nature. And Balaam took up his discourse and said, "Rise, Balak, and hear. Give ear to me, O son of Zippor. God is not a man that he should lie, or a son of man that he should change his mind. Has he said, and will he not do it? Or has he spoken, and will he not fulfill it?" Numbers 23, verses 18 to 19. This passage is about how while God has no need to lie and cannot lie as part of his God nature, man can and will lie as part of his human nature. Like humans, P is able to lie, and not just lie like villains, but make judgments about what to do in given scenarios, like lie and also kill, which is related to our next theme. A second theme concerning what it means to be human is about being able to kill.
Second law, a puppet may not harm humans.
Which of course includes killing. The second law is supposed to prevent puppets from hurting humans, but the puppet frenzy suggests that either the second law is not working or that some of the puppets have found a way around the law. Still, it is generally believed that the puppets cannot harm humans if they have not yet awakened. We see that Polendina and Pulcinella are still used in the hotel without fear because it is assumed that they are restricted by the second law. In contrast to the puppets, many of the humans can kill puppets and other humans. The stalkers are essentially hired mercenaries that work as a personal guard or army for the noble families of Krot. The puppet Arlecchino is a serial murderer puppet who pre-existed the second law. Arlecchino suggests that being able to murder and enjoying it is part of what truly makes him a human, and not just a puppet. In the earliest parts of the game, P only fights and harms other puppets, those in a frenzy. However, when he finds Geppetto, P is forced to kill the mad donkey stalker, and the game particularly emphasizes the fact that he has in fact killed a human, indicating that he is more than a puppet. Two other moments where P demonstrates that he is human through killing is when he is able to kill Arlecchino, despite having just admitted that Arlecchino is basically a human and not just a puppet. This indicates that Arlecchino himself is a human for being a serial murderer, and that P is a human for being able to judge and execute this serial murderer.
You're Geppetto's puppet, aren't you? If someone isn't trying to kill you, you can't hurt them either.
The other time that P demonstrates his humanity through killing is when Parrot, posing as Alidoro the Hound, confesses his betrayal of the hotel to P. Alidoro taunts P, suggesting that P cannot do anything to him due to the second law of the Grand Covenant, but P is able to kill him. In the book of Ecclesiastes, the preacher suggests that there are times when killing other people may be necessary and even right, such as in law enforcement or war.
You're like a human.
For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. What gain has the worker from his toil? I have seen the business that God has given the children of man to be busy with. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Also, he has put eternity into man's heart, yet so that he cannot find out what God has done from beginning to the end. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verses 1 to 11. Just as the preacher says there is a season in which killing and war may be necessary, knowing and judging the morality of when to kill is part of what makes P human. This idea of killing, as well as doing other things, when it is right versus when others tell him, is what is connected to our third theme. A third theme related to humanity is the concept that being human means being able to choose who to serve. Simon Manus, in his quest for evolution and completion, suggests that as a human, he chooses to transgress God. In other words, he can choose who he wants to serve, and in this case, he chooses not to serve God, but to rebel against him.
First law. All puppets must obey their creator's commands. Third law. A puppet protects and serves humans and the city of Krot.
Puppets have no choice in this matter, and the Grand Covenant is forced on all puppets after the murder of Venini's parents to prevent further murders or accidents from puppets killing humans. So unlike humans, puppets cannot choose who to serve. However, when puppets awaken, they no longer follow their design, but can choose who to serve. Arlecchino, the king of riddles, rebelled against his master when he awoke and no longer served him, going on to kill Venini's parents. In contrast, Geppetto as a human not only does not serve God, he puts himself in the place of God, forcing puppets to serve him through the Grand Covenant as their creator. While perhaps just the word creator would not suggest that on its own, the word creator is capitalized. The in-universe variation of Asimov's 3 laws of robotics is called a covenant, and perhaps most importantly, the puppet's apparent disobedience to the Grand Covenant is characterized as faith and worship of something as God. The freedom of the protagonist P to choose not to serve Geppetto is an important aspect of what makes him a human and results in a different ending. Choosing to serve Geppetto and giving up his P organ, in essence, makes P a puppet, but choosing to reject serving Geppetto makes P a human. In the Bible, Joshua tells the Israelites that they must freely choose to serve God instead of other gods. But Joshua said to the people, "You are not able to serve the Lord, for he is a holy God. He is a jealous God. He will not forgive your transgressions or your sins. If you forsake the Lord and serve foreign gods, he will turn and do you harm and consume you, after having done you good. And the people said to Joshua, No, but we will serve the Lord. Then Joshua said to the people, You are witnesses against yourselves that you have chosen the Lord to serve him. And they said, We are witnesses. He said, Then put away the foreign gods that are among you, and incline your heart to the Lord, the God of Israel. And the people said to Joshua, The Lord our God we will serve, and his voice we will obey. So Joshua made a covenant with the people that day, and put in place statutes and rules for them at Shittim. And Joshua wrote these words in the book of the law of God. And he took a large stone and set it up there under the terebinth that was by the sanctuary of the Lord. And Joshua said to all the people, Behold, this stone shall be a witness against us, for it has heard all the words of the Lord that he spoke to us. Therefore it shall be a witness against you, lest you deal falsely with your God. So Joshua sent the people away, every man to his inheritance. Joshua chapter 24, verses 19 to 27. Just like how God would not force the Israelites into a covenant, but allow them to choose willingly, being a human means being able to choose who to serve, unlike a puppet automaton. This choice of who to serve is often based on what a person feels, which is connected to our last theme. Our last theme connected to humanity in Lies of P has to do with the concept of emotions and how being human means being able to feel different things, especially compassion. This theme is developed in a few different ways, such as through different awakened puppets learning to feel emotions, like Arlecchino's feelings mentioned earlier. In the barren swamp, the broken puppet wants to learn how to feel different emotions, and P can teach him sadness, joy, and anger. As mentioned earlier, Pulcinella and Vanini deceived the authorities regarding the killer of his parents. It seems clear that Pulcinella was already awakened, that he and Vanini already had a strong emotional connection, and that they lied in order to protect their family-like relationship from being forcibly broken or misunderstood by overly cautious authorities, indicating that Pulcinella indeed had felt strong family love for Vanini as a boy.
I adore Lady Antonia.
Polendina, the hotel's receptionist, also expresses a romantic love for his mistress, Antonia, caring about her deeply. His love is selfless enough that he is okay with not acting on it in any way known to Antonia, indicating a true love rather than a selfish desire. Puppets becoming human through feeling emotions is also developed through the motif of music. Whenever P listens to records on the gramophone, he becomes more human. Similarly, awakened puppets can play piano with human expression because they have human emotions. Throughout the game, P can learn to play the piano more and more expressively. An even greater symbol of P being human is his P organ, or his heart. Geppetto uses the P organ to gather ergo for his son Carlo, and when it has enough ergo, he planned on taking it out of P and putting it in the nameless puppet, the corpse of his son. However, what he doesn't realize is that P, our protagonist, is already awakened, already human, and that taking his heart is not recognizing P's own emotions and humanity. In the process of attempting to reclaim P's heart, Geppetto loses control of the nameless puppet, who then attempts to destroy P. When the nameless puppet nearly destroys P's heart, Geppetto sacrifices himself to protect P. Despite his betrayal and his earlier attempt to take P's heart, P still loves Geppetto as his father, and he cries at seeing his father die in his arms. When Geppetto sees P's tears, he finally acknowledges P's humanity, realizing that P was his son Carlo all along. This idea of a heart representing the ability to feel compassion and emotions is also captured in the book of Ezekiel. I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you shall be clean from all your uncleannesses, and from all your idols I will cleanse you. And I will give you a new heart, and a new spirit I will put within you. And I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh, and give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and be careful to obey my rules. You shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and you shall be my people, and I will be your God. Ezekiel chapter 36, verses 25 to 28. In this passage, God tells the people of Israel that they have hearts of stone, a hardness or stubbornness, and that he will replace that callousness or lack of feeling with a heart of flesh, a new spirit. Like the people of Israel, Geppetto's puppet P and many of the other puppets are able to show that they are human through feeling human emotions. The Lies of P has very universal narrative themes that are developed in a plethora of ways. In the first video, part 1, we explored themes of evil and good, such as the love of money and the desire for power, that were developed through many of the villains. In this video, part 2, we took a look at themes of humanity and what it means to be a human, developed using different techniques, but especially through the puppet characters and the Grand Covenant. I have to admit that I had very low expectations for the story, given that it was a Souls-like in the pattern of FromSoft games, but I was secretly hoping that due to the fairy tale setting, that perhaps there might be a decent story. However, Lies of P's narrative far surpassed what I expected, allowing me to enjoy a game that was entertaining, intelligent, and most importantly, quite meaningful. I enjoyed this game immensely, and if you made it this far, I want to express my sincere appreciation for exploring the meanings of the game with me. That's all I have for you in this video. Bless you guys. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. If this video blessed you in some way, please consider watching some of my other videos, subscribing, or sharing with me some of your thoughts in the comments below.